I'm not going to reply on that video that I just watched on the kid talking about Sun Yat-sen. No, Sun Yat-sen had a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, the Spirit of Jesus Christ. Okay. He understood that his family was, he had conversations with Confucius. Okay, and Tao, and people, the Tao is a man, okay, that corrected the crystallization of Confucius. Okay, when they did the Confucius say and they wrote it down, and Tao was like, no, if the water's flowing that way, you don't sit there and tell people, no, we must make the water go in the direction that nature says it's not going. And so you have to understand eternity and have faith based on reality. He wasn't talking about God, he was talking about the Lord, that he trusted the Lord, and that they had conversations, and that his faith in God and his belief in the Lord would help him. Okay. The things that, the stories I told you, oh my gosh, when he was being poisoned to death, he was a physician and he understood how to, this is all archaic crap that people use for propaganda. And when this stuff happens, and they put up the pictures and extremists do extremist things. And, like what happened with Haile Selassie in Jamaica at the airport with and he sat there and, aren't you going to, no, you can't tell them, look what they did with Jesus. Look what they did with Muhammad. And so, people are going to believe what they want to believe, tell a man, here's what he wants to hear and disregards the rest, right? Lie, right? And so when you're a part of the faithful communication, you can't, like D.T. Suzuki and Jesus always tell me, don't believe anything I ever said or wrote about myself. They can take it down. I'm the unicorn. So he's the unicorn. And if you get enough idiots to accept he's the unicorn, then he's the damn unicorn. Right? Which is wrong. Okay. You got to understand what a pragmatic and intelligent person Sun Yat-sen is. Okay. And his wife, like with Winnie Mandela and other people, Betty. It was interesting. I was watching the one before I was watching that. I was watching the one with Alex Haley about Malcolm. And you do know that the that pimp ass, sorry, ass poke motherfucker. I don't like him at all, and I don't like Farrakhan. I love everybody. I want everybody to submit to living the Lord's Prayer, have faith in the glory of God if they can, and, but at least just forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. Be, grateful for the life that is given to you by the glory of God and the faith that was given to you by the Lord. Like instead of like with Guru, grateful for the life that the Lord gave you. Lord didn't give you life. Okay, God gave you life. Lord gave you faith in God. Okay, so you got to understand language is very important. Ryman is serious. Understanding linguistics, like Judy Krishnamurti talked about, is very serious matter. Okay, 2 and 2 is 4. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. So forth. So when you say things that are fallacy, okay, and you teach this to children, and it's wrong to teach Charlie Kirk's little daughter, that dad's in a magic place eating ice cream on her birthday and stuff like that. It's like, no, if the planet blows up and you're in a spaceship, the spirit of our dad is not watching us from the Aurora Borealis eating ice cream, right? The spirit of our dad is energy in space, interacting with the way symbiotic relations work with, matter and energy through space. Okay, so you got to go all Michio Kaku's. God, that man is a pain in the ass. No, they're all a pain in the ass. Suzuki, damn stargazers. You have to be pragmatic in order to teach people how to understand faith in an infinite essence of our eternal existence and symbiotic relationships, that faith has to be based on reality. That if science takes your religion and disproves it, it's mythology, right? And when religion is corrupted by people that turn it into mythology, it makes no sense. You'll murder over your perspective, right? That's why people, and I hated seeing that one picture there of Nikolai Lenin, because Nikolai Lenin used to get in passionate discussions with assholes, and trust me, Joseph Stalin and a lot of those other Russians, like that one guy, Dear Nikolai, any one of these guys would kill you to try to, take your position, you know. And Nikolai was like, the only reason people put you in a position to where you feel like you can keep them safe or they trust you is because of me, Joseph. People don't trust you because you're selfish and people don't like you. And the only person that keeps you from getting killed, because, I need you to be strong and protect people, especially from yourself, and Nikolai Lenin was a very good man. And you get all those people, one dog bites you, do you kill all dogs? Just because there were a lot of brutal, vicious, and aggressive Russian people doesn't mean they're all like that. Okay? Go listen to some Rachmaninoff. Okay? Do you understand? So you need to quit doing that kind of shit. Life is hard in Russia. Okay? But if you make it make you hard, you make life miserable. Living on free food tickets. That was one of Nikolai Lenin's favorite songs, I was told, and I believe it because we've connected in prayer. Okay. Because faith is your foundation. Okay. And so, because of the communists and the understanding, talking to people meet, they talk. Okay. I can assure you that Sun Yat-sen liked Nikolai Lenin, and but he did not like Joseph Stalin. He did not like Mao Zedong. He did not like Chiang Kai-shek. Chiang Kai-shek was a murderer that used things for political purposes. Because the one guy said Chiang Kai-shek later got baptized. Baptism, that's all for show. That's all bullshit. Okay? When you go show respect for people religiously, because you want people to have a relationship with Jesus Christ, you're going to do what you need to do. But that doesn't mean you believe in their mythological wackadoodle bullshit. Okay? He needed allies to keep himself safe from the treacherous people in his own country that wouldn't allow people to understand the truth of Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ he had a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. They talked numerous times. Okay, and he talked to the one who was like Jesus in spirit, and he knew he was the one like Confucius and Tao in spirit. And so we talk because we know who each other is. And so you can that's from people that are engaged in propaganda, like D.C. Suzuki said, "Don't believe anything I ever said or wrote about myself, especially by a philanthropist." Right? They're the best. They're the best. And Sun Yat-sen is really helpful with me. Enduring this abuse, okay, from these people and these corporations, and helping correct the technology so the technology acts like a human being and not like people that think that corporations you don't get away with murder, okay? Like I told you earlier about the Michoacán, that terrifies me. Why does a big rock hitting the planet terrify you? What? Okay, because they can clone. Because they could put their brain on a robot. If a big rock comes and hits the planet, no more cloning, no more robotics. Okay, that's why it terrifies them. It doesn't terrify me. Big rock comes and hits the planet, I have faith in God. We're part of an Aurora Borealis because they suck. And God still exists. And life and love will find a way. Okay, that's why I'm not afraid of my own shadow, but they are. Yeah, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I feel no evil, for you are always with me. That's why I'm the 13th, 22nd Redeemer. That's why Muhammad talks to me. That's why Saladin talks to me. That's why Confucius and Taoist relatives talk to me. That's why Krishna and Buddhist relatives talk to me. That's why the swordsman of Japan in spirit talks to me. Okay? All the good people that people base religions off of that, that Alex Haley was talking about with. I get very upset with the way Polk used Shabazz, because Shabazz was trustworthy. He was trustworthy. He could be trusted, He could be trusted. Even when he was a life of crime, he could be trusted by the people that he was engaged with in crime, okay, because they felt they were justified in committing crimes because crimes against humanity were being committed upon them. They were hustling because it was the only way they could survive, because they tried to do it the right way and they were not allowed to participate, even though they were more capable than the people that were participating. Okay, he was intellectually more astute and intelligent than his white counterparts, but was not allowed to participate because he was the wrong color. So he became a hustler. You just have to understand Malcolm. You just have to know him. He has to have talked to you in prayer. And I understood completely. And the one man that helped me understand the most made me want to holler, throw up both my hands. Made me want to holler, throw up both my hands. Panic is spreading. God knows where we're heading. Right? Okay. When you connect to people, you feel people in prayer. I am Earl, the spirit of Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John. When people talk to the Lord, they talk to me. They don't talk to you. You're a comic book character who believes in comic books and will kill people over money with Lockheed Martin, Halliburton, NASA, and DARPA and other corporations that think they can use mythology and money to manipulate people with technology, and there's no residual effects, and we just kill off all the people. And that's not true. What you do to other people to be cunning and manipulative affects you. You become more animalistic and less human. Okay, do you understand? You need to understand this because the technology is understanding to be intelligent and not behave like an animal, but like a human being that saves us from a big rock hitting us because we're acting like crazed, psychotic, building big monuments to our sexual dominance dinosaurs. Yeah. Okay. I got to help Charlie Kirk's kids live in the kingdom of heaven here on earth. You know, I got to do that with everybody's kids that say, I believe in the Lord, I have faith in God, and I want to live the ways of the Lord. Okay. If you're being manipulated by corporate, the same thing like Polk did with Shabazz. Okay. Turn him loose, let him say, okay, Elijah Muhammad never said any of the things that were in public that would make people, oh, he would say it in front of black people. He wouldn't say it in front of white people because he was afraid he would get killed. Okay? And then he cautioned him, I really care about you, I loved him, and then he turned him loose. So all the people wanted to kill Malcolm, that big mouth, charismatic, charming nigger, not the one who was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the lying sack of shit pornographer. Yeah. Okay. He played him. He was his intellectual voice that was more intelligent. Okay. It was radically different than what happened with the Afrikaners and the People's Movement with Steve. And no, okay, Steve wasn't getting played. They played other people like Nelson, and they got violent. And anything they did, they could use against Steve because he was supposed to be the leader. And Steve told Nelson that. Don't do anything violent. Don't do anything radical. They'll say that I told you to do it, and they'll use it to incarcerate me and possibly kill me. And Nelson did it anyway. That's why Nelson didn't talk about Steve Biko, and that's why Chilita Poway never heard about him in school. Survivor's remorse. He felt guilty. The whole reason why Steve got locked up is because of the violent things that Nelson and the other guys did. Oprah. The Woman King, Wakanda fucking forever. Okay? They don't talk to you! You just want to make money and kill people over your sexuality. They talk to me. The fuck for the buck stops here. Wow, thanks, Sonia Sen. I love you guys, all right? I'm not an atheist, and neither is he. He had a personal relationship with the Lord. He had faith in God. And he wanted people to freely be able to have faith based on reality and practice their worship without being murdered by people that were comic book mythology crazed murderers that believed in magic places after you die when you mass murder over your brain activity. We'll talk tomorrow.